Oops.
Vaughn, does that signal?
Very soon.
Not signal. Does that little man thing mean you're like a manager of the Facebook page?
What? Probably. I don't know.
Right there.
It means I'm a man. Is what that means.
You should let somebody else tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Show me Vaughn's little man thing.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
no,
God.
wait, all right,
we gotta
I
behave.
did not have Vaughn's little man thing.
We gotta behave. We
She's got a
We have
picture
a
of it on her
classy
phone.
guest. We have family listening. We're gonna get rolling. I think everybody can hear us. I think everybody can see us as much as they need to. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 212. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. I would like to remind you that the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast is not censored, so listen at your own risk. I have sitting next to the right of me the most beautiful, talented, and educated woman in the world, Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell, jacked and tan.
You said next to the right of you. I thought you were talking about me.
Next to the, directly to my right, Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about you?
It's wonderful to see you. I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you. I'm
2
glad to be
workouts
here.
today. Fantastic.
2 workouts back to back.
Next to the doc, we have the Reverend
Well,
Vaughn Rawls.
it's been quite some time.
I've missed you dearly.
Likewise.
You look better every time I see you.
No, I don't, but I take that compliment.
You have a glow about you.
I do, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be
It's
either
a-
the temperature in here. It's really hot. I forgot to turn the air on.
It's not that warm. No,
Or a case of
comfortable.
the meat sweats. I run into that.
I'm very comfortable. Meat sweats is more likely.
And then speaking of looking good, I got to tell you, we have the man over here, Mr. Derrick Baker. This guy,
Thank
The
you,
best
man.
looking guy in the room.
the dude gets out of the car. I know when Grayson saw him, I can't wait to get inside. Grayson's going to be like, that dude
did
is
you hear?
jacked.
Did you hear him? Chris was like, "Oh my God, who's Dad's friend out there? He's huge."
Yes, man. So, Derrick, I've seen you on the trail. You're well liked, well known in the community. Sam Renfro, who's one of my favorite people in the world, you are definitely one of his favorite people in the world. And he's been saying, you got to get Derrick on the podcast. You got to get Derrick on the podcast. And he just has so many good things to say about you. You're like the humble, PG-rated David Goggins.
Yes, I definitely get that a lot.
Do you really?
Yeah, I
People
get
tell you
that a lot.
I mean, you have the intensity, which everybody loves and appreciates and can feed off of, but minus maybe the differences in styles, which would be the constant use of profanity, which is his thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. And then there's a level of humility that you have that is very attractive and nice to be around. So I appreciate you taking the time to be on the podcast. We'll work our way through. We'll have a little discussion about things that are not meaningful in the least, and then we'll circle back around and we'll learn more about you and what makes you tick.
Roger that.
But thanks for being here.
Hey,
Yes,
thank you for having
thank
me.
you.
And then we got my man, Big Thirsty, Brian
up?
Swanson. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Living life.
I want to tell you how much I appreciate you bringing me my souvenir gift.
Pickles.
How come every time I get ready to say something to anybody, they prepare as if it's going to be something like you look
Did
at me?
you, did I Did I
Yes.
look
You looked to the
prepared?
side and you gave a look.
No, I looked at the pickles.
Okay.
That's all it was. It was a look to the pickles.
Can I put some spicy pickles in like a Ziploc bag and take them home?
You want some of those?
Only if you'll eat one hot right now. That's the only way you're allowed
Okay.
to take one home.
I would do that.
Actually, they're Wilson's pickles. I shouldn't even offer.
yeah,
that's fair.
you can't be.
You can't be. Listen,
On and off the pickle.
you can't be offering Wilson's pickle to me.
Those are no
Only
longer
he can do
Oh
that.
my goodness.
your pickles. But I'll tell you what, I will give you some. But in exchange for that, you have to eat one of my new concoctions that I came up with this week.
Does it have mayonnaise in it?
Well, the next best thing. Someone told me to. Amanda tagged me, and I think it was Stacey Kale's post. Was it Stacey?
No, I think it's Debbie Lindsay. I'm not
Debbie
sure though.
Lindsay?
I'm not 100%.
They said take a packet of ranch seasoning,
It never happened.
dump it in a jar of pickles, shake it up, and
Nope.
let it sit
It's just
for
the
24
seasoning.
hours.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Nope.
There you go. He said
So the funny thing is it? I think my daughter-in-law has been doing ranch cucumbers.
Okay.
Darn near the same thing.
Probably
right?
a lot of the same thing because they're close to the same fruit.
Yeah. So it's
Pickles
They
and
are
cucumbers.
the same
You think?
vegetable.
yeah. So
Maybe. I don't know.
ranch seasoning, mix it up,
Yeah.
toss it around a little bit. You get the juice from the cucumber
Yeah.
or the leakage from the pickle. And
Yep.
Well,
And the irony is not lost on me that it's all just different states of the same thing. Like
Right.
a pickle is a different state of a cucumber, and you put ranch in there, and it's a different state.
And
of
see, from Vaughn's perspective, you've done the world's best thing by giving him the flavor of ranch without making him eat
Yeah.
the white sauce.
no, you
that-
haven't.
He
It's still
refused.
Still no.
That's
Yeah,
still a
no,
big
it's
no.
a nope.
Okay. Well, I'm so.
It's
I'm
you,
so
you realize it's not like ranch dressing.
I
right?
don't care. It's called a ranch.
I'm so excited about us finally getting back together. Do we have a defibrillator in here? Do we have one around?
No.
If it were the excitement were to become too much for me,
But I feel like
what would we do?
Amanda
I
can
feel,
save
I feel
you,
like
man.
we have a qualified professional in the room that might be able to save your life.
We know Derrick can carry me to fresh air.
Yeah.
And then whatever happens from there that Amanda's willing to do to bring me back to life. which-
Probably everything short of mouth to mouth.
Exactly that. She'll be like pressing on my chest like that.
And Brian and I will just be sitting here talking to Facebook.
Carry on the podcast.
So Wilson's outside getting, CPR'd, and we're just hanging out.
I'm going to tell you one of the reasons I'm going to tell you three of the reasons why I'm so excited to be
We
here
got a
tonight.
review.
Not only did we get one, we got three of them.
What?
Three of them in the same week. Finally, the people have come around.
They
and
realized that was the way to bring us back
We should
together.
back
stop
to reviewing.
podcasting, and then people start liking
That's how to
us.
do it. We should just be doing this once a month. There's no sense in doing it.
Isn't that what happens like with all great bands? It's like they quit putting out albums.
Yep.
And then people are like, oh my gosh, why don't they put out an
Yep.
album?
And they're like, we forgot how
I really miss
how
that guy.
bad they really sucked. And then they go and they do a reunion tour
And they're
to
like,
be reminded of how bad they really sucked. Maybe they're like, we'll listen to it one more time. Maybe it was not that bad.
I shouldn't have wrote that damn
And then we come
review.
back and they're like, yeah, it was as bad as we thought.
Quick, along those lines, saw Sheryl Crow at Live at the Garden last Friday night. Girl still got it. 59 years old.
Does she really?
She can sing her butt off, and she's got a special place in her heart for Memphis because she grew up in Kennett, Missouri, and apparently Memphis is the big town that they'd come to go shopping. Like this is where she came to see Santa. She told this whole story at the show. It was really kind of cool.
Did you buy a beer while you were there?
Did I buy a beer while I was there?
Buy her one.
Yeah.
I
did
think
not
that's
buy
what he
her a
said.
beer.
Since Vaughn asked me to be the
You
liaison.
went to see Sheryl Crow, is what you said,
I
at
did.
Live at the Garden.
I did.
Did you go and buy a beer while you were there?
I did not buy any beer while I was there.
Okay, because my mother-in-law was selling beer at that show.
That's
That's why I asked.
I partook in beer.
Okay.
That's-
You probably brought your own.
No, there was the.
You were at the rich man table that they just
Yeah.
brought it to you, so you didn't
Yeah.
have to go to. I get it, Mister.
My
Big
wristband
Shot
came with
over
three
here.
with 3 beers, so
Yeah,
I
okay.
Yeah.
partook in those 3 beers.
His beer huggy is just he takes $100 bill and he wraps it around the mug so it doesn't get too warm.
I laugh when people offer me koozies. My beers don't ever get cold or don't ever get
Yeah,
warm.
right. Yeah.
It doesn't take that long for me to drink it.
All right, so we have a 5-star review, and this is, I don't know if I see better with or without my glasses when it's close up. I got to tip my head down. 2 thumbs up. I'm a runner lifter in the Seattle area. I found your podcast by way of your 2017 documentary about the Tunnel Hill 5100 you posted on YouTube. That video is one of the very few that I enjoy rewatching, and your podcast never fails to inspire and entertain. Keep up the great work.
Wow.
That
Seattle.
documentary is like top 5 best ideas you've ever had.
You think so?
Top 3.
Yeah?
Top 3.
That is, my idea is getting worse.
No, man.
No. I'm telling you that it's better than 5.
I was trying to give him credit for asking Amanda out.
Oh, okay. I see. I see.
Getting involved in this podcast. I
see.
was trying to
I
put some
see.
other things.
Derek, have you seen the documentary?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Yes.
Look,
Really? What brought you
He's
to that?
one of the 10.
What? How did you find out about the documentary?
Actually, I just seen the imprint from Walking Tall, Live Heavy, Run Long, and I got done with the race, and I just went online and I looked at it.
Oh, no
'Cause
kidding.
Yep.
What'd you think about it?
I loved it.
Are you ready to go
Wow.
run Tunnel Hill? Probably be a walk in the park after what you finished this weekend.
Yeah.
No, I don't pretty much. Well, I'm not going to say it's not going to be a walk in the park, but I'm definitely looking forward to the challenge. I actually have another 100-miler coming up next week.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Well, and you just finished. What was it that you just finished?
Oh, well, actually, I just finished the Barkley Fall Classic on Saturday.
Oh, man. I saw a video of that, and it was wet. Super wet, huh?
Yes, it was horrible. It was
Wow.
horrible.
He finished it.
And you finished it.
Yes, sir.
No problems.
Yes, sir. I finished. Oh, well, actually, I had some problems and I had some issues.
Uh-huh.
But I finished in 11 hours and 49 minutes.
Man, what's the cutoff for that thing?
13:20.
Oh, man, that's intense.
Wow.
Good for you.
Yeah, he did
Congratulations.
great.
Thank you. I sure
We-
really appreciate it.
We mistakenly started talking about some of this before we started recording, so I'm going to
Yes.
ask you to repeat some of your story.
Okay.
Just about your weekend experience, and you were talking about the main reason why you wanted to go was because you wanted to meet Laz.
Yeah.
Can you tell that Wilson has a crush on Laz?
I don't know who has a bigger crush, Amanda or Wilson.
I love
Or
Laz.
Amanda?
Honestly,
I love him.
the main reason why I wanted to get into the Barkley Fall Classic, it really wasn't even about being tested. It was more just about meeting that race director, meeting Laz. I mean, I think his energy is just so infectious. He has a smile that's infectious. I was telling my wife about that over the weekend. But as soon as I got to the race and I asked him for a piece of advice, he told me to go out and run the first 10 miles as hard as I can. I was like, are you serious?
You're like,
right
okay,
now?
maybe I don't like this guy.
And I said, you know what? That's a recipe just to blow your quads up and just destroy your whole freaking race. But most people took it to heart and they went out and did it. I didn't, I was like the middle of the pack guy.
There you go.
Are people complaining about audio on there?
It just paused. We're kind of cutting in and out on the video part.
Because I've got issues with the recording part that I've never had before. And I'm not thinking it's recording on here either.
But the other thing's recording, right?
Yeah, but it's got terrible. That thing has terrible recording on it.
What should we do?
My hopes is that it's going on to Facebook, and I can pull it off of Facebook.
Okay.
It looks like it is.
Looks like we've moved back. It's showing you back and forth holding that, so it's back on.
Okay, but nobody's saying I can't hear what you're saying.
Nobody's saying anything.
Nobody's saying anything, yeah.
Can I get a hallelujah if Pickles got you through a run
Okay.
Saturday?
All right, so somebody's heard something.
Somebody has heard something.
Somebody just sent a heart through whoever that
Somebody
was.
sent the heart. I'm going to send one.
Was that you? I thought that was you.
No.
Well, I'd like
All
to-
right. Well, let me pick up on this before we get too far out of whack.
Sorry.
I got my number 2 and 3 review here. We got another
Oh, sorry.
5-star, and we got this thing. We got still loving it. I will never get tired of Beefcake, Jack the Tan, the Reverend, and Moneybags. Sorry if I got the last nickname wrong. I'm too tired to figure it out right now. But I'm sure if I had to listen to a few episodes over again to figure it out, I'd really enjoy the reruns. That is so funny. The fake Jane.
All right. Thanks to Candy Baker and Alan Roundtree. Y'all are coming in through fine on Facebook.
Okay, that is
no
wonderful
audio
news.
issues for me.
Thank you. Wonderful, because we got audio issues here both of
Oh,
them.
Big Thirsty's now money bags.
Money
I like
bags.
that
That
one.
is
Money
so
bags.
funny.
I like money bags better. Anyway.
I know. That is a nice name right there. That's a popular name. Money Bag Yo over there.
Just call me. What's Donald Duck's
Uncle
uncle's name?
Scrooge.
Uncle. Is it Mick Scrooge or is it Scrooge?
Scrooge McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck. That's what it is. Thank you.
Review number 3. Still here. 5 stars. I just listened to your last podcast. I'm still here listening and enjoying each and every one. Big Cheesy.
Big
Via
Cheesy.
Apple Podcasts.
That was his name?
Yeah.
Big Cheesy.
Yeah. I don't think he was calling.
I don't think he's calling somebody
Big
else.
Cheesy. Hey, we got the Walking Tall 25K and 50K coming
that.
up really soon. October 16th.
World's greatest aid station.
Is that accurate?
That's right.
October 16th?
That is accurate.
So, yes.
We have canceled the last day of our family vacation. to
Did you
come
really? I was
home
wondering
to,
because Amanda was telling me about that.
to work the aid station for that.
Yeah.
I am going to be one of Amanda's minions and do whatever she has me to do, and be at the disposal of Sean Hillsden and Brian Williams and whatever I can do to help make the race a little bit better.
I'm going to try to have warm pizza rolls this year.
I'm going to bring the music
Gonna have music
and the fun
and the fun, the dancing.
and the dancing.
How are you going to cook or keep the pizza rolls warm?
Just have those like little heater things underneath the tin things and just kind of keep them covered with foil till people come in and roll it back.
Does anybody have a generator or something that'll run 110?
Maybe.
Bring an air fryer out there and
Put
cook
it
'em.
out there.
Cook
I've
'em
got
as
it.
needed.
I've got a
Ooh,
generator.
there's
I've got
an
a gas.
idea.
I've got a gas powered generator. We could bring out there.
Just bring the air fryer
Just
and
bring
just
an air fryer out there and cook them as
make-
needed.
I like this idea.
I tried to do warm chicken noodle soup last year, but Sean forgot the propane or whatever to the. I had it all like mixed up, water
I
and
think
everything.
what-
He's like,
I think
"Oh, I
I've been-
forgot it."
You know, I've been wanting to do that,
Yeah,
so I think I might try to fix. But it,
I had it last year.
Derrick, you've run Walking Tall, right?
Yes, sir. I've done 2019. I did 2020.
Nice.
And I will be doing 2021 this year as well.
Now you finished very high up in that race, correct?
I think I placed number. I want to say I placed number 9 or probably 7. I don't remember, but I know it was 6 hours even.
Yeah, 6 hours.
Wow.
Even. Wow.
for the 50K.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the 50K.
Well,
Wow.
The first time that I
That's
met
good.
Derrick and
Yeah.
and I had a conversation with Derrick was at Stanky Creek, and so I'm running along and Derrick comes up behind me and he very casually and politely stops and just kind of starts waddling along, and he says that he enjoys our podcast. He asked where Amanda was, said that he likes listening to both of us together, and then before we part ways, he said, "All right, man, I'll see you at the finish line. Almost done." And I thought, wait, you're almost done.
Oh,
Well, I'm about
You had a
mile
few more
10.
loops to
Yeah,
go.
you're coming up. You're
You're looping me right
You're
now.
2 7-mile loops ahead of me at this point. So I'm on like mile 8, and he's on mile 24. So not quite that.
what you should have said is it's all downhill from here.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
I should say, watch your butt. I
got
heat
this.
up on this back leg. I'm coming to get you. That would have gotten it. And Earl Pistone said that they were gonna try to be watching us wherever he's located. He's got a friend of his named Grace Tinsley. Is that right?
Yep.
See, a secret location.
Tinky. And he was going to give her our information, hopefully get her on the podcast. I read an article about her, and she's like super incredible. So that would be a good one. I don't know where he is. I'm not real sure.
It is an undisclosed place. He cannot say.
Is that where he is?
I'm surprised we make it past the government censors.
Well, we might not. He said he was going to try to watch it. We had a conversation earlier about flat build hats. I have Michael Hiron's Elmira 50-mile marathon hat on. It's an outstanding hat.
It is the best. It is the best trucker hat one could buy.
Well,
I would argue.
Here is the
It
question.
is.
Can a newfangled flat build hat be converted into a trucker hat the way that I would like it to do with a
No,
bent bill? I don't do flat build
no,
hats.
I won't
think-
say definitively they can't be, but a lot of flat bill hats are designed to only be
to
flat
only be
bill.
flat.
Well,
That's what I think this
yes,
is.
and I think you're desecrating it by Mississippiing it up there.
So-
I
By
think you're probably
going like
right.
this. I think we really just need to shift our mindsets.
I
and
don't
be
think
like,
I can.
I can look good in a flat bill hat. I can look good in a flat bill hat.
You have to stand in front of the mirror
Right?
and say that
and you
3
can
times.
just you wake up in the morning and you put the hat on and you go, I look good in this flat bill hat.
You think there's some liberation to be had
Yes,
there?
and then eventually we're all these white guys that look great in flat bill
That's it.
hats.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
it's all in our minds.
My life changed at the flat bill hat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I think it's just
My-
What do you
confidence.
think,
just gotta-
Derek? You can probably wear any style hat and be
This is true.
and look super good, and no problems. Do you like flat billed hats?
I like any type of hat.
Do you?
Yep,
You wear a hat most of the time?
all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, pretty much. I wear that Amara 50 hat to work all the time.
You wear it flat billed?
Yes.
You think it's designed to be flat billed, or do you think you can get away with bending it?
I tried to run over it, but it didn't work. Tried to prop it up on something, try to run over my car.
That's the old way of doing it. You can put it in a dishwasher. Did you ever put a
Yeah.
hat in a
I
dishwasher?
used to do that when I was
Yeah.
a kid. Is put books on top of it, like dictionaries on
Yeah.
top of the hat.
Well, it's
I
important to do it right because I've had so many that are off kilter.
I would take a baseball and rubber bands.
Is that what you
Put
do?
it-
No, I think I'm just gonna start wearing them flat.
I just got to say about that hat in particular. My youngest son moved back home to Memphis, and he's like, "Hey, I need some hats." And I was like, "Well, turns out as a bald guy, I own a lot of hats. You're welcome to anything in my collection." And that is one of the 3 that he took, and that's the one he wears the most.
Because
often.
it's an awesome hat.
It really
I
is
mean,
an
that
awesome hat. It's a
seriously.
well-made hat. If you try to find hats I look for lift heavy run long hats, and it's hard to find a manufacturer of quality hats.
Well, look at the label on that one.
And I think that the walking tall hats are perfect. They're right there in the middle. They're right there. They can be flat billed
They
or
are
they
very-
can be
yes,
truckered.
you are
they're
right.
they're versatile is the word I'm looking
You can redneck those up for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
be all right with it. I
Or you can
suppose.
flatten them down and
Or
be
you
that.
I think you can wear them as they come.
I can go hip hop trucker wherever.
Yes.
Whatever I
Yeah.
want. Sometimes I'll go into the restroom and change, come back out and be a different person.
All right.
Just depending on how I want to wear the brim of the hat.
Well, there you go.
Yep. Changes the way I walk and everything. So, Derrick, let's talk a little bit about you and your backstory. Fitness wise, you always been super jacked, or when did you athletic? High school? What'd that look like?
I was active, but I really just didn't participate as far as no football, no basketball in high school. And I joined the Navy in 1997, and that kind of started my workout because I had to. You know, I had to do my push-ups, sit-ups, and running. But I didn't really get serious about weightlifting to somewhere around about 2007, 2008.
Okay.
And then I got into bodybuilding, you know, because it was something I gravitated towards. You know, I want to be big like I seen on the magazines.
Right.
And it got me up to like about somewhere between 230 and 240.
Okay.
My biggest was 250.
Uh-huh.
And it's just a point once I got up to that level, it was 2 years ago. I was watching a documentary. I think there was Billy Yang, and I seen like him running this 100-mile race, and he was broke down and he was kind of like suffering and hurting. And it was at the end of August. And my wife and I were just sitting there looking at this documentary, and I just looked at her. I said, I want to do that. And she was like, you're not even a runner. I said, I know I'm not a runner, but I truly believe that I can mentally push myself to it. So I went online, and it was at the end of August, and I went online and I pulled up Ultra Sign Up. I found out something. I don't particularly remember how I got to Ultra Sign Up, but I was looking up for like an ultra marathon. Honestly, I didn't even look for like a 5K. I was looking for an ultra marathon.
Right.
So Walking Tall came up, and I just signed up for it, and I procrastinated like the first week or two because my wife can attest to that. And I had like 5 weeks to train for it, and I was like between 240 and 250, and I dropped about almost down to 210 by the time the race came around.
No
Wow.
kidding.
Yeah.
5 weeks?
Yeah, I trained hard for 5 weeks. I pretty much, just like my man said, I became the Black Forrest Gump. That's pretty much what it was.
So once you set that switch, it's on. I mean, your nutrition and everything's dialed in, or you just ran?
I ran, but I still ate like a bodybuilder. I have friends that I train with, and I went to every individual friend. I told them, I got love for you like a brother, but for the next 5 weeks, don't talk to me. Don't say nothing to me.
Don't call me. Don't ask me to come lift weights.
Don't call me. Don't do nothing because I want to be so locked in. Because the first thing my wife told me, she said, Derrick, if you don't take this stuff seriously, you're not going to make this race like you think you're going to make it.
Good for her.
And there was some medicine that the patient, myself, needed.
Uh-huh.
And then I just went balls to the wall.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Did you have any cardio at that point, or as a bodybuilder, did you care anything about cardio, or was it all heavy weights?
It was all heavy weights. I didn't stretch.
Yeah.
I didn't do no stretching, no none. I heard stretching was bad for you. So I didn't stretch. I didn't do no cardio. Cardio is like a powerlifting bodybuilder's worst enemy.
Right.
So I was just like, in order for me to keep the mass, I stayed away from cardio.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, my cardio was putting on a hoodie or two and just sweat that way.
Right. Right. So when you started running, when you walked out the door for a day one run, what kind of distance were you going for? I mean, were you going for a distance at all, or were you just trying to, blow your heart out? And
I pretty much just said, okay, I'm going to go out there and at least try to do a mile. I probably would say I made about a half a mile because I had on my powerlifting boots, and I just went out there on Goodman Road and I struck out and I was like, okay, this ain't happening. Maybe she's probably right. Maybe I really need to get to work. So I went down. I didn't go to Grivet Outdoors. I didn't know anything. So I just went down to the rack room and bought like some $20, $30 pair of shoes.
yes,
I didn't know.
Rack room.
I went around to the rack room. I didn't know anything about no Solomon, no Saucony. I went and bought like the cheapest thing you can get. Probably like some Fila trail shoes. And I went down there and I bought those. But when I bought those, this is where, my story really gets crazy. I had like the walking tall coming up. And one day, I never forget it. I didn't tell my wife, I didn't tell nobody what I was doing. I went to Walmart after I dropped my daughter off. And at Latimer Park in Horn Lake, I said, this is going to be the place where I'm going to have my greatest victory or my greatest defeat. But I need to know, can I run a 50K on my own before I do the actual race? I needed to know that. And I went up there to Walmart and I got all my nutrition that I think I would need like at an aid station. Mm-hmm. And I set out. I didn't even tell my wife. It just so happened that she seen the location and then she found out where I was. And I think I ran like 18 to 19 laps around Latimer Park till I got a 50K.
Really?
Wow.
And then I ended up in a tub of ice that night. But it was the worst feeling I ever had, but the best feeling because now
you knew you could do it.
Now I know I can do it. And then, that's the same thing I did with my 50-mile race. The first time I did a 50-mile race, I ran 50 miles on my own before I did it.
Really?
Yes.
Man, that's wonderful.
That's commitment.
Yeah. Jeez.
And how did you feel the next day after that? Were you wrecked?
I was wrecked, but I went up and I had an S on my chest because I just did something.
Uh-huh.
That I didn't have no race director shooting the gun. I didn't have no staff, nobody high-fiving me. It was just me and my wife sitting there, which we're still today. We're just like this team.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, she's my biggest supporter, but, she's also my greatest critic.
Yeah.
At the same time, because she's hard on me.
Yeah.
You ran 50 miles in the same place you ran the 50
Yes, around
kilometer?
Horn Lake, over to Whitehaven to Memphis and back. And then it started pouring raining at mile 38. No, excuse me, mile 32, it started raining. And then she looked at me, and I was just devastated because I couldn't finish what I wanted to do. And it was on Veterans Day. It was November 11th.
Oh, God.
And, and I was running with a heavy heart. And I sat there, right there at our tub, and then she looked at me and said, Derrick, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to change clothes. And she drove me up there. We got our aid. We got our food and our clothes. She made me change some clothes. And she went up there and dialed in 18 miles on the treadmill.
Man.
And she sat there and watched me the whole time to finish up my 50.
Jeez.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is something.
Yeah.
How do you feel like running has has transformed you mentally? Has there been any confidence changes or spiritual changes that have taken place running over lifting?
Yes. The main thing I noticed was that I'm doing this. Years ago, I would never probably been on no podcast because I wouldn't open up to people. I would never talk to people. Like when I came up to you at, Snaky Creek, I never would have done that when I was a powerlifter. In order to be a powerlifter, I'm sure everybody in this room knows that you can't walk up to no type of weight being super nice. You got to walk up there so aggressive. And see, here's the thing about it. When I used to lift in my gym, I lived like 3-4 minutes away from my house. So what are the chances of me taking that aggression from the gym? I'm taking the stuff home with me because I don't have no time to decompress. So I was always in that dog mentality. And then once I got to walking tall, I got on that course, it humbled the mess out of me. I mean,
Really?
It literally humbled me to the point to where I became a little more peaceful, and it just progressively grew into. Now, I'm not saying I'm a social butterfly, but
Right.
I'm a whole lot better mentally now.
Well, power lifters are scary. I mean, they're supposed to be. I mean, that's just what it is. Like we had an event at the gym one time where a guy put his head through the wall. I mean, like it's a very intimidating thing. But trail running is the opposite. Of
Exactly.
that. Like, did you experience that and go, "Wow, these people are"?
Were
Nice.
people welcoming to you? Did you feel kind of the brotherhood of it? I mean, did you? I don't know if people that run as fast as you do really have the opportunity to meet people on the trail the way that somebody like I would.
Actually, when I first did the walking tall, if you go back and look at the pictures, whenever y'all get time, y'all could tell I was a greenhorn. I'm sure she's seen it because I was the only dude out there in jogging pants. like I had jogging pants on and some rack room trail shoes. and I'm over here stretching out and
Jogging pants.
Yeah.
Just
I had
the term
all
jogging. Is
yeah,
enough.
jogging pants, like some cotton jogging pants. And everybody was sitting there like, who is this guy over here? He over there stretching out. And the only person I really knew was Brian.
Uh-huh.
And, it's just the point that when I went out there on the trail, and I think I was at mile 22, and I just completely fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like NASCAR. People were just coming past me just like this. Just zoom, 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 zoom. It's like I hit a wall. And people stopped and they asked, like, are you okay? And, that was the first time I noticed that, okay, these people that's in this trail running community, they, actually they genuinely care. Because when you're powerlifting, you're pretty much by yourself, you don't have no friends, you don't have nobody to really pick you up, and it's just the point that's why I gravitated, and I will continue to stay into the trail racing because it's a brotherhood, it's a sisterhood, it's something that you can always share, and I truly, truly love it. I wish I would have started earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful experience. It's really a great environment. You just finished the Barkley Fall Classic. You say you're doing walking tall 50K, correct?
Yes, I am.
And then what do you have after that? Do you have it? Thirsty mentioned Tunnel Hill. Is that something you
You
might?
guys said you
no,
had
no.
100.
Actually-
Oh, that's right.
2 weeks.
Actually, when I did Barkley Fall Classic, I have no business 100. It's not on Ultra Sign Up anymore. They went through Run Sign Up now, but I signed up when it was still on Ultra Sign Up last year, and I signed up for that, and that's not this Saturday but next Saturday. And I was just sitting here like just already mentally preparing myself. Like as soon as I got done with the BFC, I celebrated, and I was like, okay, it's time for recovery because whether I'm wrecked or not, I gotta go.
You got to go out and do a test 100 miles before you go do 100 miles.
Oh no! I stopped it at 50. I stopped it at 50. I said, "Oh well. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. I did.
You already did 100?
I did 100 on my own before I did the actual race.
You did. Where'd you do that?
It was called. Oh well, actually, I probably did Tunnel Hill last year, but some things happened personally that I couldn't go. So I went online to Ultra Sign Up, and they had this thing called Dreadmill 100.
Oh God.
And you
my
pay
Lord.
$50. And once again, hey, sweetie, I know you watching.
I figured she was in the mix somewhere
Yeah.
in that.
I got up that morning, and I didn't tell her. I didn't tell nobody. I went back up to Walmart, and she said, honey, are you heading to the gym? I said, yes, I'm heading to the gym. She said, so what time you going to be back? I said, I'll be back tomorrow. So I went up there, and I told the people at the gym that I'm going to be doing 100-mile. I want to reserve this treadmill at the end. I'm going to do 100 miles on treadmill since I couldn't do my 100 miles. So I'm going to do 100 miles on my own before I do the actual one that I did in February of this year at Hot Springs, Arkansas, the Run Love It, where I met Michael.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I met Michael there, but I did 100 miles on treadmill just to prepare myself mentally for what I was going to encounter in February.
What gym was this that you worked out on the treadmill?
Club 4 Fitness.
Are they a 24-hour gym, or were you
yes, sir.
just telling them that you were going to be in there for
Just leave the keys.
24 hours? I mean,
So you've already done 200s, one on the treadmill and one at Love It.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
jeez.
Yes, sir.
So this will be your second
Official.
official
Yes, sir.
100.
Yes, sir.
How long did it take you on the treadmill to do?
It took me 23 hours, 14 minutes, and 3 seconds.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Was that miserable?
It was miserable, but actually, once people found out about what I was doing, people come up and talk to me. But what I didn't know, because I'd never been at the gym at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, all the big screen TV shut off. Because, see, I didn't have no music in my ears.
Oh,
I wasn't watching none. I would occasionally listen to something, but I was out there running on a treadmill, and it just got so quiet, and out of nowhere, I seen a door open up. And it was my wife came in with some, she actually had some baked potato wedges sticks.
Oh.
And then, she just came in there.
She sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I already like her.
Yeah. Yeah. She, honestly, she walked in there because, see, we've been married 18 years. I'm not saying that's a long time by a lot of people's terms, but she already knew what I needed because she called me on the phone, and I was in a dark place. I was in a dark spot. I think I was at like mile 65 or 70, and I was just like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this in the 24-hour cutoff because this is what I wanted to do. And then she brought the wedges up there to me. And then, every time you stop the treadmill, you got to check in with the race director and take a picture of it in real time. And you got to send a picture right up there because he's watching. And so I went over there.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so I went over there and I got on, I guess it's aqua massage, and she hit the button for me, and I got a massage, and I just laid there for like 2 minutes, and I was just in there thinking, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this, man. Like, I may have to walk the rest of this, but I'm not going to get the 24 hours like I want to. And then she was like, come on, honey, let's just get back up. Let's just go. I don't care if you got to walk. Let's just go back and walk it. And then eventually, she headed on back to the house because, she had stuff she needed to take care of. And so I just jumped back on the treadmill. And around 5 o'clock, 2 people came in that I knew from the gym, and they helped me power through like the next 2-3 hours. And then I was able to celebrate that 100 miles. And, that started my journey for Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Though that must have been fun for the people that came in there, that if they were like, I really don't feel like going to the gym today, and then coming up and finding out that you're in the last couple of hours of a 100-mile race, and so then it becomes bigger than them, so it's like, that's kind of how it all works. It's why people enjoy doing aid stations and things like that, because it's something that's bigger than you, and helping somebody do something can be as much fun, if not more, than having to do the thing yourself.
But there's one thing I still want to do is the aid station. I haven't had an opportunity to do that because whenever my wife and I always get done with a race, I don't know, because I'm sure y'all have felt this before, is knowing when, Wilson goes out back on the trail, it's that anxiety, nerve, and like you don't know what's going to happen to him. I don't know what that feels like. So a lot of times I want to know what that feels like to be that nervous for that individual because, they come into your arms at the aid station, you're caring for them now, they leave your care again. And, you know, I don't understand what she goes through, but sometimes I want to feel it. And I think the closest way I'm going to be able to do that is through the aid station. You know, I want to be able to sit there and say that I've helped some people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, what you do is what I did, and that is find a friend and just bring him out to a trail and go, we're going to run 5 miles.
That's what he did to me.
And then run off and leave him.
And then
man.
And then leave his fat ass out there 30 seconds into the trail race with no directions,
And then-
no nipple covers or body glide, so he can chafe to death. And literally 10 miles later, they send out a search party for me.
Oh, my goodness.
But it was a start. It was what I needed.
And then you'll really
when they found you, you had a smile on your face.
I couldn't have been happier. I couldn't have been happier. What an experience.
it was all by design.
But, you know, you did that to a lot of people.
I did.
You
I have done that too.
attempted homicide on a lot of people by saying, you know, it's just sign up, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you will be.
Who wants to go for a run?
Nobody.
That sounds like a
will go
stupid
anymore.
idea. What time?
That's kind of the way that it works. Man, what a deal.
That's funny.
Well, it was one of the best things that I ever got into. It seems like I haven't been, I guess all the events for the most part have been canceled and just kind of opening back up. And I kind of like the feeling of going into races not knowing where I stand, how prepared I am for them, like how far. I never really know how, you know, I'm never in like the kind of shape clearly that you're in, and I'm never going to be at a running pace that, you know, I'm at any kind of placing level or elite level, but how much I'm going to struggle during a race is always a surprise, you know, and it's fun to kind of get out there and see, because unless you run that far, like you said, doing it beforehand, you don't really know, you know, how prepared you are for it. And like now, currently, I probably haven't run over, I don't know that I've run over 6 miles since February, but I've probably ran more 2-mile intervals at a faster pace than I have in 3 years. You know, so you don't know really where that puts you in relation to, you know, better cardio shape, but also not in long distance shape. And I think there's an element of surprise there that's kind of fun.
You know, but that's one thing I love about the trail running is, actually the trail running, but the races in period, is just not knowing the outcome.
Yeah.
You know, you're constantly going into it not knowing, you know. But I never ever run to place, though. I never run a place. A lot of times she asks me, do I want to know my times? I'm like, no, I really don't want to know, because I'm not looking to get number one. I just want to overcome myself. Like I'll go out on a trainer run every day. Then when I get done with the run, let's say I go on like a 5-10 mile run, I don't care if it's 3 sometimes. I'm like, I overcame myself today. That weak side of myself just tells me to hit the snooze button, because I'm just like anybody else. I don't want to get out and do it, but, you know, that discipline overrides, you know, that weak part of me, because I still live with that person. I don't want to do it all the time.
What does your week training look like?
Well, before the race, I was doing anywhere between monthly, because me and Kieran was looking at my a race log and stuff monthly. And at one time, you know, here a couple months ago, my biggest month was May. It was 400 and 379 in June, and July was 319 as far as the mileage.
Ooh, so it's a lot.
Yes, I was just at least trying to, actually at one time when I was trying to train for big butts, 100K, I would train in the heat, and I would put on 3 or 4 hoodies, and I would tie this tire off to me around my waist, because I was supposed to have been did at mile 50.
Okay.
But I almost didn't make the race. And then what happened was, I don't think I was going to do the race. And then I got pissed off at myself. And that's how I ended up thinking about the whole hoodie thing. And I said, okay, Derrick, you're going to pay for that one. And then all of a sudden, the people I was talking to, they were like, how are you going to make yourself pay? I said, well, I'm going to put on 4 sets of hoodies. I'm going to pick the hardest day. And I'm going to take this tire with this 25-pound vest on, and I'm going to take it 18 to 20 miles. And I guarantee I won't let that mistake happen again. So, you know, I started from Horn Lake City Hall, and I went up to Gilwell Road, just dragging this tire, and went down Gilwell.
Like a tire on the rope?
Jeez.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And then I came back down Church Road all the way to Horn Lake Road and then back to the gym. And I was like, I guarantee I won't make that mistake again. And that's how I kind of taught myself how to do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, but actually, Michael ended up hitting me up. And I ended up going down to the race anyway. He hit me up like a day or two before the Elmira 50.
Mm-hmm.
And I went out there and I ran a race. And thankfully, even with tired legs, thankfully, I was blessed enough to come in third place.
Oh, wow.
But me and this gentleman, I don't know his name, but he was a great runner. But me and him fought tooth and nail for like 12, 13 miles to get that third place.
Oh, God. I wish I knew who it was.
I don't know who it was, but, man, he was fast.
Is Michael not one of the best people that you've ever met?
Michael is probably one of the greatest people because he gave me an extra push at Hot Springs. I didn't have nothing else left. And he just lit a fire under me. I was like, I don't know who that dude was, man, but he helped push me those last 5-6 miles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing guy.
Wow.
We don't have a whole lot of time left.
Yeah.
Who else has anything they want to talk about?
Well, I have something to talk about.
Sure. Go ahead.
I always wanted to know this, and I think I told you this before. No, but first of all, I have to make a comment. I think it's so cool that y'all two do what y'all do. That was one of the first things I told you.
Uh-huh.
I said, man, that is like the coolest thing to have, you know, a partnership in trail. Because that's very, you know, because it's something you don't see a lot of. And I think that's what attracted me to y'all from the get-go. I was like, man, that is so freaking cool to have somebody there with you, you know, who's actually, you know, I mean, that was just like, I was in awe with when I first heard that, you know, because I'm looking at the race form, I'm like, oh, man, they got a partnership. Like, these two married people out here are running the trail together. Like, that's the coolest thing in the world. So how did y'all get into it? I really want to know that.
That's Yvonne.
That's my fault.
He was up at the gym. And I'd never even heard of a 50-mile race. I thought that you ran a marathon, and sometimes you died and sometimes you finished, but that was it. And,
Sometimes you die.
and when they talked about a 50-mile race, I thought, man, that's insane. And then I heard about Vaughn's 50-mile 400 deadlift club. And I remember asking the guy at the gym, how fast does Vaughn run these 50-mile races? And I didn't realize the perspective, but he was like, you know, probably 12.5-minute miles, something like 12.5-minute miles. And I thought, well, I could run a 12.5-minute mile. One, you know, so, and then I talked to Vaughn, and Vaughn's like, yeah, you just do it. Like, what do you mean you just do it? He's like, just sign up. Sign up for this and sign up for that, and then you'll be fine. I'm like, okay. And so then Amanda and we met at the gym. And so we start running. Where's the first race that we ran together? You were there for me at Wade's Big Adventure.
You ran the 18. 18. I ran the tiny one, whatever the smaller one. The 8
miles.
The 8 miles.
Because I was with John and Caitlin.
And then we did the Sillamore. Well, we did some races, you know, just some shorter races. And then we did the Sillamore where I did the 50K. That was my first 50K. And Amanda did the 25K. So we're already kind of the ball's in motion. Like we're just kind of signing up for whatever. And then the Tunnel Hill 50 miler.
We did that together.
We're both like together. Like we're running this together as a, you know, we never got more than probably 200 yards out of each other's sight. And that was an experience.
And Amanda crawled on her hands and knees.
Amanda, and which was one of the more attractive things that I've ever seen to see, because that's what it does to you. You know, whether you're the fittest person in the world or whether you have no business being out there, there's something to be said to bringing yourself to that place. You know, whether it doesn't make any difference where you are. The goal of it all is to get to a breaking point, right? You know, and to get to where you actually think, I'll be better off crawling the last 7 miles of this. And it's pitch black.
I tried it. It was too rocky.
freezing
It hurt
ass
my
cold.
knees.
It didn't last very long. And I think at one point in time, I was like, get up. Like, you're not going to be able to, that ain't going to work.
You did. I was out of my drink, out of my electrolytes, and all I can think of is my potassium's too low. My heart's going to stop beating. I'm just going to lay out here on the trail and die because there's no help out in there.
She's thinking in medical terms, like why she's going to die.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking I'm just going to die.
You know, even though I still love the trail running, but I still look at it just like whenever I got done with BFC and I went to go meet my mom over at my aunt's house, and she said, "Oh, Derrick, I'm so proud of you." And I said, "Thanks, Auntie. That show, I greatly, greatly appreciate it." And she said, "Now, what's wrong with you? All of y'all are some crazy imbeciles. Why would you pay money to go out there and torture yourself?" And and I still question myself that sometimes because I'm like, why do I keep doing this? Because I know eventually it's gonna hurt. Just like y'all, when you gotta do your 50 mile, your 50K. I know eventually it's not gonna be easy anymore, and I continue to go back to it. But I just enjoy the camaraderie of the people.
Yeah, there's something there, man. I mean, there's something about fatigue and exhaustion and adversity that is just, it's good for you, and it feels good in the moment, or it feels good coming out of it, or going into it. I don't know where it all is, but regardless of what level of fitness you are, there's some good to be had from it.
I have some information.
What?
Derrick Baker, 42 years old, from Mississippi, at Elmira 50 miler, 10 hours, 11 minutes, and 8 seconds. That dude that you beat, Joshua Gonzalez is that guy's name.
Okay.
He's 23 years old. and
Almost half your age.
You beat him by 30 seconds. Almost 30 seconds.
Yeah. It was close. Oh, yeah.
Dang.
Oh, shout out to one person, though. Brother from another mother, like I was telling you earlier. The race director of Swamp Stomper, Shelly and Kieran.
Oh, yeah.
Kieran ran with me at the BFC. Kieran, if you're listening, Shelly, if you're listening, thank Kieran. Thank y'all for helping. But Kieran actually came up behind me and gave me a swift kick in the butt at BFC. I mean, had it not been for him, I don't know if I would have made the time.
Really?
I mean, literally, I think me and Kieran, we was always close and tight, but there was a couple moments during that race on both sides of us, without getting too personal, we became that much tighter. I mean, he didn't say it, but he said, "I'm not leaving you."
Yeah.
Where it's really like, in a race like that, it's like, y'all know, it's pretty much every man for himself, or every woman for themselves. It's everybody for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You got to run your own race. But that one moment, that whole cliche of running your own race that was thrown out the window, he did not leave me. And I didn't leave him. And me and him got tighter because if you go back and look at the pictures of the race, me and him came across the line together. And then not only that we form a brotherhood, but my wife and his wife have grown.
Oh, that's great.
Grown to sisterhood. So that was cool.
Two quality people.
Man.
Tell me your wife's name again. You mentioned it. You said it earlier.
Yeah, Candy.
Candy. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, does she participate in the events, or does she just try to help aid you on?
Aid me on through talking, through whatever I need. But we have a type of thing now that where it's just like that she knows exactly what to say. And then some people are taken off by it because sometimes she has told me at a certain age station, like, you need to go now. And then, people like, you know what, look here, he's doing great. Don't talk to him like that. Like, look here, I know what he needs. I know when he needs to have a swift kick in the butt, or I know when he needs to talk to. But she's always making sure, that I'm getting my training in, I'm getting my rest in. She also makes sure that I pull back because I have a bad habit of getting done with a race and go out training the next day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rest days aren't really your thing, huh? Yeah. I don't have a hard time.
Man, listen to this. Looking at these Elmira results. So number 1 is a guy named Blake.
Yeah, Blake is cool.
9 hours, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The second guy is Francisco, 9 hours, 39 minutes. And you got Derrick. Then you got the guy behind him. And then you got April Hillsden, 4th or 5th overall.
You know what?
10 hours and 30 minutes.
April, man. April has
a beast.
You know what? Honestly, she came out of nowhere in that race. I didn't even see her, and I mean, she was on everybody's heels. Like, she had to have a tiger that day, and I mean, she could have easily passed all of us.
Just springing and smiling the whole way makes it look so easy.
Which is very intimidating because you want people to be grimacing. And then she just smiling the whole time. He's like, man, really?
She came in the aid station. This is the greatest moment.
I know.
She came into the aid station, and Sean goes, "You should probably sit down, take a minute, maybe eat something, change some shoes." And she was like, she just gave him this look, like, nah. And I said, "Sean, you don't win races by sitting down." And she just took off. It was great.
Talk about another power couple that races together. April and Sean are awesome people.
They are very awesome.
Yeah, April, Sean, Brian is a great guy. I actually ran with him like about a month or two ago. I just ran into him out there at Shelby Farms. And him and two other guys were running together. And then we all just ended up running like 10 miles together.
Really?
Yes. We were just talking and just, which I didn't even know that people do out there on the trail. I didn't know people even talk.
Yeah.
I thought everybody was like Elliot Kipchoge and they just out there just doing their own thing, just running. They don't have no conversations whatsoever. And I just thought everybody's out there to get to the line. And I was like, yo, wow, there's people out there to talk about paying bills and everything.
Therapy for miles. Yeah. That's what. I mean, there's all kinds of stories, but I always think about GFO, Gary Owens talking about at Tunnel Hill, running with the guy that he met, and they ran for 35 miles. And he's like, you learn a hell of a lot about somebody in 35 miles.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lady that I still keep in touch with. I was telling you about the Smoky Mountain race. We still stay in touch. We ran the half marathon together.
Very cool.
But I'm not going to lie. BFC, there was a moment during that race I got stuck on Red Jaw. And Kieran can attest to this. Kieran, you can attest to this. I was holding on to some briars.
I was going to ask you about your arms, if that's what that was.
Yes. I was holding on to some briars, and I climbed like, I don't know, about a couple hundred feet. And Kieran was right down from the bottom of me, and I just was trying to hold on for dear life. And I just slid, and it was just so demoralized.
That's what I was seeing.
And Kieran went right past me. And I was just like, it's one thing to get knocked out 3 times, but that 4th time I slipped, it felt like Tyson just hit me. I was just like, you know what? And then, honestly, I feel like I'm a mentally strong person. But Red Jaw made me question. Like,
that's one of those.
What the hell am I doing here on this mountain? I want to get out of here, man.
You just want to lay down and be like, "Can the helicopter get me here?"
Actually,
exactly how are they going to get me out? How could they get me out of here?
Actually, it's funny you said that because this guy went on to the Barkley Fall Classic website, and he said that he pondered that. He said, I was sitting there, I was stuck in between the briars, and they just slicing me up just like razors. And he said, I wonder how a helicopter would come get me. And I was just like,
me out of here.
And I mean, I couldn't get up Red Jaw. So that's where a lot of the cuts came from. I had to climb through the briars. And I was just trying to put one foot on, the mud, and I climb up through the briars, and it just comes just scratching me up. And I was just like, but when I got to the end, when I got to, I think I think it's called Decision Point. And then that's when Lazarus Lake, and me personally, I still don't know how he got that name. But, I seen him, and he said, hey, so are you going to keep going, or are you just going to go right down Quitter's Road down here? Because you can stop at a certain point if you don't want to keep going. And then he said, there's only 1 more mile to go. Which was a lie. It was like at least about, I don't know, it felt like 20 miles left, right. But it really like a couple. But it was like the worst climb because my quads was already beat down. But he let you make the decision if you want to keep going. Now you can go right down the road and you can get a finish time.
Oh, really?
But if you keep going, the hardest part about that decision that he told you to make was that you're not guaranteed to make it.
Oh.
Because, if you keep going, you don't know what's out there.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know what was out there. And it was like the most hellacious climb. Now, Red Jaw was tough. It was the toughest climb. But it was so tough coming towards the end because it seemed like it was switchbacks. They're fun when they're going down.
Right.
Those switchbacks hurt when they go up.
Oh.
And it seemed like it was one mountain climb after another. And I was just like, you know what? I'm so sick and tired of this stuff.
Well, the video I watched on Facebook of y'all coming up the rat jaw,
Yeah.
it almost looked like athleticism be damned. Just it was, for some people, probably just too difficult to get up. I mean, it was just so wet that it didn't even look like a matter of athleticism as much as it did just a matter of whether you got lucky enough with your footing.
Yes. One thing I couldn't understand, there was one guy, he came past me. We were going up Red Jaw. He was coming down. I was like, hey, man, so where you going? He said, man, I'm leaving. And I was like, shouldn't you have stayed up at the top of Red Jaw? He said, no, I'm sitting on my butt and I'm sliding all the way back down Red Jaw. And he slid all the way back down. That was the last I seen of that guy.
Maybe the last anybody's seen.
Yeah, he's still out there.
So
You know what?
would you do?
He probably is.
Would you do Big Barkley if you had the opportunity? Would you do the big one?
I would.
Would you?
Wow.
Yes. But I will have to say that's my weakness,
Which part
navigation.
is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't stand a prayer for the
me neither.
navigation.
I
I mean,
mean,
much less obvious.
The only thing that really spooked me out about it when I heard that one year this guy got lost out there. He was out there for like 32 hours.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he had a blanket, and he found a log, and he just slept up under it. Just about found him.
Well, I didn't know with your military training if that would be beneficial if you would have at least some level of
Comfort.
comfort with that. That would.
Now I had navigation training, but I had navigation training with a group of people.
Yeah.
I never navigated by myself.
Yeah.
So, but see, that's how me and Kieran met. I got lost at Swamp Stomp.
Uh-huh.
I still don't see how I got lost, but he came out there and saved my butt.
Yeah.
I mean, he saved my bacon on that one. And I got lost at a couple races, actually. Actually, I got lost at Hills. I got lost at Elmira, too. A lot of us did.
Yeah.
Because the guy told us to go left, and we should have went right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I can get lost going from the studio to my house next door. I have no sense of direction at all.
I'm the same way. Terrible at it.
Yeah.
Terrible at that stuff.
Well,
Vaughn and I were just having that discussion, I feel like, last week when we were running. I feel like so often he's just like literally focused like 10 feet in front of him and just paying attention to like not tripping kind of thing. And a lot of times he'll be like, where do we just run? It's like the first couple times we went out to Snaky Creek, like I always had to take the lead because he has no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea.
He never has no idea how to. He can run the whole thing, but doesn't know how to find his way himself, kind of thing.
Right.
So
I still get lost over there.
I could.
Thank
Since they marked it,
That's hard.
pretty well, so I can do it by myself now. But,
Okay.
Yeah, once you realize there's only like 5 trails out there,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of figuring out which one you're on.
All right.
That's really what it comes down
Speaking
to.
of navigation, do you think you could have found our car from the football stadium?
just on my own?
Yep.
No, God, no. No. But I put a pin on it so I would be able to find
There
my
you
way.
go. That's
okay.
attaboy.
But I wouldn't have been able
Yeah.
to just walk from the stadium to.
Like what we
Yeah.
did? 'Cause I
Yeah,
was leading?
absolutely
Okay.
not. No.
I
I
was
wouldn't have been
wondering,
able to get
after I
out of
got-
the parking lot of the stadium.
After I got there, I was like, I should have had him lead to see if he could.
No,
find
you
it.
should.
And you would have been impressed when he did because not knowing that
Yeah,
he had
not
the
knowing
pin.
he had a pin. Yeah.
No, that
I just
wouldn't
think he
have
was
been a bad
texting
idea
somebody.
for-
Right.
At that stage, after getting beat by Memphis, we were good just to get back to the car and get home as soon as possible. I'd had enough about everything I needed to have that day. But that's a different story altogether. We're out of time. Y'all know I don't like going over an hour, and we did. But that's because we had such a wonderful guest and Derrick Baker here. Lift Heavy, Run Long, number 211 is in the book.
212.
212. Is it 212?
That's what you started off the show saying.
Well, I'm flexible.
Oh, man.
Whatever y'all want it to be. 212 is in the book.
212.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
All right, thank y'all.
Man, that was great. Derrick, it was really good to meet you. I am.